another edition of the Mindset Game podcast, and I'm your host, James Roberts.
I'm a two-time Paralympian, online training and nutrition coach, and owner of James Robert Fitness. You can find more of my content by going to my website, fitamputee.co.uk. But before we get started with today's show, first off, let me take this opportunity to welcome back the regular listeners. And if this is your first time listening to the show, I hope you enjoy this episode and decide to subscribe to the show.
Today's episode is going to be slightly a bit different. It's going to be a short one with just me.
In today's episode, I'm going to talk to you about when is sugar content a concern and when can we enjoy it without fearing for our health. It's a very poignant one today because the UK government has now installed a sugar tax on all soft drinks. First off, let's put this into context. Experts confirmed in the summer of 2015 that we're eating too much sugar. As a result, products such as ready-made sauces, pizzas, bread, cereals, drinks, soups and even salads have been named and shamed for their sugar contents. But the scare stories can be misleading. What most reviews do is simply look at the total amount of sugar in products rather than the type of sugar or what else that product contains in the way of nutrients. Now let's look at the two types. When new recommendations from the Scientific Advisory Committee on Nutrition advise cutting the maximum amount of sugar in half from 10% daily calories to just 5%, which equates to about 30 grams or 17 spoons of sugar, they were talking about free sugars. Basically, this means the bad ones. These include all added sugars plus fruit juice, honey and other sugars found naturally in syrups or extracts such as maple syrup or agave nectar. The reason? Eating free sugars in large quantities is linked to obesity and dental decay, and when in form of drinks, to type 2 diabetes. The kind we don't need to worry about are the intrinsic sugars found naturally in milk, fruit and vegetables. These come packaged with other valuable nutrients, and we don't tend to overeat them because all these nutrients help fill us up. They're not as harmful to our teeth either and tend not to be overloaded with calories. And finally, to wrap up today's episode, the terms to know. Free sugars, the ones to limit, all added sugars and what they're called. These include brown sugar, confectioner's powdered sugar, corn syrup, dextrose, fructose, high fructose corn syrup, also termed HFCS, inverted sugar, lactose, malt syrup, maltose, nectar including peach nectar and pear nectar, raw sugar and sucrose, to just name a few. I'll add the rest in the description. Also, any sugars found naturally in syrup or extracts, examples being maple syrup, molasses, treacle, rice syrup, golden syrup, coconut syrup, and agave nectar. Fruit juice, including concentrates, and finally, honey. Now let's look at the ones to enjoy, this being intrinsic sugars. Sugars naturally found in milk, fruit, and vegetables. And before I forget, I would really appreciate it if you would be so kind as to leave a short written review, as it helps to get the podcast more notoriety and it would be more visible in future to others, and thus helping more people, which my guests and I are all about.
Once again, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time for another episode of the Mindset Game podcast.